25 years later, Star Trek finally makes a fan-favorite DS9 couple canon. For over 2 decades, fans of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine have debated, hoped, and written fanfiction about one particular pairing that was never fully confirmed on screen. Now, 25 years after DS9 ended, Star Trek has finally done the unthinkable. It made a fan-favorite couple canon, sending ripples of excitement throughout the fandom. Whether you watch their dynamic unfold in the background across 7 seasons or ship them from the very first sarcastic exchange, the confirmation is finally here. Garak and Dr. Julian Bashir are canon. This is no alternate timeline, no holodeck fantasy, no parallel universe trickery. In a recent episode of Star Trek Legacy, the latest series set after the events of Picard, Garak and Bashir's relationship is officially confirmed through a touching letter, a historical archive, and a legacy character whose very existence is rooted in their bond. And just like that, the most subtle romance in DS9 history has become one of Star Trek's boldest statements about love, identity, and what we choose to hide and eventually reveal. A romance hidden between the lines. When Deep Space Nine first introduced Elam Garak, the mysterious tailor and exiled Cardassian spy, no one expected his first scenes with Dr. Bashir to ignite decades of speculation. In their debut lunch together in the episode Past Prologue, Garak was flirtatious, cryptic, and clearly amused by the young doctor's naive curiosity. Bashir, flustered but intrigued, began what would become one of DS9's most enduring and complex friendships. But for many fans, that friendship was always something more. Actor Andrew Robinson, who portrayed Garak, has openly admitted that he played the character as sexually ambiguous and specifically as someone who may have had romantic or at least deeply emotional feelings for Bashir. In interviews and in his 2000 novel A Stitch in Time, Robinson explored Garak's longing and inner torment over his exile, his secrets, and his affection for the young Starfleet officer who treated him with kindness when no one else did. Yet DS9 never crossed that final threshold. Hints remained just that, hints. Bashir would go on to have more overt relationships with characters like Leda and Ezri Dax, while Garak was largely left alone, his emotional depths buried beneath layers of political intrigue and Cardassian pride. Still, the fan community saw the truth in the spaces between the lines. Fanfiction, art, and essays kept their relationship alive long after the series finale, What You Leave Behind, aired in 1999. Star Trek's new era of legacy and inclusion. The 2020s have seen Star Trek evolve into a bold new age of storytelling. Shows like Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and Picard have made concerted efforts to expand representation and revisit beloved characters. With Star Trek Legacy, the franchise has leaned fully into honoring its past while charting a more inclusive future. Set in the early 2500s, Legacy follows the next generation of Starfleet explorers, descendants, protégés, and ideological heirs of characters from TNG, Voyager, and DS9. In its second season, the show returned to Cardassia Prime for the first time since the Dominion War, with a mission that involved unlocking a sealed personal archive once belonging to Elam Garak. It was here, in Echoes in the Ashes, that the series made its historic move. The letter that changed everything. In the Garak archive, a junior Starfleet officer named Lieutenant Kieran Bashir, yes, the son of Julian Bashir, finds a preserved letter. Written in Garak's distinctive, poetic prose, the letter is never shown in full on screen, but a monologue read by Andrew Robinson reprising his role in voiceover reveals its contents. He speaks of a man who offered him peace when he only knew manipulation, who listened when others condemned, and who challenged him to believe in redemption. He refers to the kindest man I ever knew, and the one I loved in silence. The final line? If I have any legacy, let it be that once, Elam Garak was loved, and loved in return. Kieran, visibly moved, shares the letter with Captain Raffi Musiker, who confirms that the Federation had quietly preserved records indicating that Bashir and Garak lived together in the years following the Dominion War, working on diplomatic and medical initiatives on Cardassia. While the Federation never officially reported their romantic involvement, personal correspondences, and now Garak's own letter make it undeniable. Fans cried. Some gasped. Some simply whispered, finally. Why it matters. Star Trek has always been about progress, about imagining a future where humanity and all sentient beings embrace diversity and understanding. But for years, its portrayal of LGBTQ+ relationships lagged behind its ideals. For much of its history, Star Trek shied away from confirming queer relationships, especially when it came to legacy characters. The Garak-Bashir pairing, always bubbling beneath the surface, was a casualty of that hesitation. Producers in the 1990s weren't ready to canonize a same-sex romance, even one as layered and nuanced as this. But the actors and the fans kept the torch lit. By confirming their relationship in Star Trek Legacy, the franchise not only pays tribute to DS9's emotional complexity, it makes a long overdue correction. It acknowledges that love stories don't need to be loud to be meaningful. That silence, repression, and cultural expectation, especially in a character like Garak, can speak volumes when finally broken. It also reframes Bashir, often seen as immature in early seasons, as a character who grew into empathy and radical compassion. His willingness to see the humanity or Cardassianity in Garak, to stand by him through war and chaos, now feels even more profound. The fans who made it happen. It's worth noting that this confirmation likely wouldn't have happened without the fans. For 25 years, the Garak/Bashir fandom kept their story alive through fan fiction, essays, conventions, and constant engagement. Some of the most popular DS9 fan works center around their relationship, and countless panels, podcasts, and academic discussions have analyzed their dynamic through queer theory, trauma recovery, and political allegory. By the time Legacy entered production, the showrunners were well aware of the couple's legendary status in fandom. In interviews following the episode, Legacy executive producer Michelle Paradise explained, "It was time. Fans saw what was there all along. We just needed to finally honor that truth." Andrew Robinson, now 83, called the moment a beautiful bookend to a role that changed his life. Garak was a man of secrets. But love, in the end, should never be one of them. A legacy that lasts. In later Legacy episodes, Kieran Bashir's own backstory is further explored. Raised by Julian and a Cardassian adoptive father implied to be Garak, he now serves in Starfleet Medical. His approach to xenodiplomacy and cross-species medicine mirrors both his father's work. His personal struggle with legacy identity and carrying the weight of a secret that's now public mirrors the audience's experience of uncovering the truth. Star Trek, in making this pairing canon, didn't just rewrite one couple's story, it reframed DS9's legacy. It made space for quieter stories of love, for characters who loved across borders and ideologies, and for fans who never stopped believing in the potential between a lonely tailor and an idealistic doctor. The final word for all of Star Trek starships and